I'm 24-year-old Iris Salguero from La Isla Bonita and Burgrace Key, and I am Miss Universe Belize 2021.
Hi Iris, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Mind if I ask you 60 questions?
Sure, go right ahead.
Great. What's your favorite time of the day?
My favorite time of the day would either be sunset or sunrise, just because I think it's a beautiful moment to just show us that endings can be beautiful, and it reminds me of the song Coldplay, Paradise, the sun only sets to rise.
That does sound beautiful. How long does it normally take you to get ready in the morning?
It could go anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes if I'm doing a quick glam, but if I'm going for a full glam, it could take anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, just because I like to take the moment to appreciate myself and show myself some self-love.
What does being Miss Universe Belize mean to you?
It means to me an individual that gives back to her community, that is responsible, is a role model, and of course representing my platform, which is very near and dear to me, spreading awareness against domestic violence to hopefully create a change in my beautiful Belize.
That's fantastic, I love that. How did it feel when you found out you were the new Miss Universe Belize?
I was ecstatic. I wish I could have celebrated, but I had to keep the secret just because it was done differently this year. But it's a dream come true and I feel grateful.
What's your favorite food?
To be sincere with you, I love food in general, but I would have to say pasta just because it usually comes with cheese and I'm obsessed with anything that has cheese on it.
Nice. What's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby would have to be going to the beach. I enjoy doing that every Sunday. It's part of kind of like our community tradition, just spending a day at the beach with family members and friends and being able to appreciate each other. Of course, now in the time of COVID, that's not possible, but with the close family and friends that I do have staying with me at home, I tend to enjoy any time of privacy that I get with them.
Speaking of family, do you have any siblings?
I do. I actually am one of 12. I am one of 7 girls, and there's also 5 boys. I'm also the youngest. And because of that, I was kind of raised as a tomboy because I was closer with my little brother.
What makes La Isla Bonita special to you?
What makes La Isla Bonita special to me is that being an island girl, I'm surrounded by nature, by the ocean, and that has made me have a great respect for Mother Nature and always being environmentally conscious.
What other place in Belize is your favorite to visit?
To this day, I would say my other favorite place is Cayo. Being that we're here right now, I've always traveled here as a child, being that my dad has property nearby, and I just love how I'm submerged in the jungle.
Speaking of jungle, do you have a favorite animal?
I would say my favorite animal is the jaguar. Apart from being fierce, it's also one of the fastest animals, and I love the print on its fur.
What's the first thing on your mind every morning?
Every morning when I wake up, I practice gratitude, so I'm always thankful for life, and I make sure to say a prayer when I wake up and before I go to bed.
And what country did you enjoy visiting the most as either Miss World, Miss Earth, or Miss Latina?
I would have to say the Philippines, just because it reminded me of home so much, even though it was so different. They had a lot of elements that reminded me of home, and I just felt welcomed by the Filipino people.
What's the cause that you're most passionate about?
My cause that I'm most passionate about is actually my platform, which is spreading awareness against domestic violence. Being that I was a victim, but I don't like to say the word victim, so I like to say I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I hope that through my platform to make a change not only in Belize, but in the entire world.
And who is your hero?
My hero would have to be my mom, just because not only did she raise me and my 6 siblings, but my 6 half-siblings as well, while working full-time jobs. At one point, she even worked 3 jobs and was still able to make time for us. And she's a woman that's just always been very hardworking, very honest, and she has instilled those same values in me.
Would you say that's what motivates you to work hard?
Definitely. My parents are a big example of what it is to work hard, to come to a country not speaking a word of English, and to be able to build a life for themselves has been my biggest inspiration and what keeps me motivated.
Awesome. What's your most important life lesson you've learned so far?
I think the most important life lesson I've learned is to be very authentic and sincere to myself, to always let the essence of Iris shine through, and that the most important thing that I will leave in people is the feelings that I made them feel, not the physical image of myself.
To learn a new skill, what would it be?
I would probably learn another language, preferably French.
If you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be?
I would spend the day traveling to as many locations in Greece as possible.
Are you a fan of any sport?
Yes, actually, I was the captain of my football team in primary school, so I love football.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a difficult one, being that I love all foods, but as I said before, I love cheese, so anything with cheese, whether pasta, pupusas, pizza.
What piece of advice would you give to your younger self if you could?
The piece of advice that I would give younger Iris is to believe in herself, that she's beautiful the way that she is, regardless of what anybody else says, and to not believe in the standards of beauty that society has placed. And I hope that she's proud of the woman that she is to become.
Do you like or dislike surprises?
A little bit of both. I like surprises, but I tend to always push to find out what the surprise is before time.
What are two of your pet peeves?
Pet peeves, somebody that bites their nails and somebody that smokes.
What's your favorite family tradition?
Favorite family tradition is my dad barbecuing over Christmas, the fact that we always get together and all the kids get to open their presents first.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Miss Congeniality, just because I think she's a tomboy and she's out of her element, and she's clumsy and funny, and that's a bit of a representation of what I am.
What was the last show you binge watched?
That would be Rick and Morty. I literally watched all the episodes as soon as they came out, and I just think they make a funny duo.
Can you touch your nose with your tongue?
I don't think so.
What was your favorite subject in high school?
My favorite subject would be either math or accounting. I think math is the language of the world, so I was always very interested by it.
What's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten?
I would say that when I was in the Philippines, they gave us these fried earthworms. That would have definitely been the most unusual thing I've ever eaten.
How many languages do you speak?
For now, 2, working on 3, as I mentioned before, working on learning some French.
What is your favorite personality trait in a person?
My favorite personality trait would have to be somebody that's optimistic. I myself try to stay on the positive side, so I appreciate when somebody has the same characteristic.
Was there a specific moment in your life that made you want to use your platform to speak out?
Yes. After healing from being in an abusive relationship myself and witnessing a young lady being murdered by her abuser, it made me realize that I'm really, really grateful for being able to make it out of that abusive relationship. And not every young woman has that opportunity. So I felt that it was necessary that I was given that opportunity, so I should speak up about it and hopefully change lives.
What relationship advice can you share?
I would always say that choose a partner that respects you and loves you the way that you are. Never let anyone peer pressure you into anything or control you. Pay attention, because the red flags are always very visible, and the moment you feel uncomfortable, leave.
Who would you say knows you best?
I would say my mom knows me best. Of course, she's my mother and she's raised me, so she knows all my little quirks. She knows if I'm lying, if I'm telling the truth, if I'm frustrated, all with just a look at me. As much as I try to put up a facade and pretend like everything's okay, she always knows if something's wrong.
What are 3 things you can't live without?
3 things I can't live without would be food, sleep, and sunlight, because I enjoy being outdoors. I love food, and sleep is always important for me to function well.
What's one thing people don't know about you?
I think one thing people don't know about me is that at first glance they see this girl that's so put together, that's so elegant and graceful, but I'm actually quite goofy with my close friends and family. I love to make people laugh, and I'll do it at whatever cost, actually.
What's your favorite childhood memory?
My favorite childhood memory would be just hanging out by the beach with family and friends, collecting seashells with my little brother, and just being able to embrace all my family members, especially now that during COVID we can't really do that.
How would you classify your style?
My style, I would say vintage, eclectic. I love patterns, I love color, anything that's very flowy, but I also like to be very comfortable and casual.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself with my digital marketing degree, owning my own online business, investing into real estate, and hopefully being married and maybe some kiddos.
Who is your favorite author or musician?
Author or musician? Actually, I wouldn't say I have a specific one, but one band that I really like is Coldplay. I just feel that all their songs are about positivity, love, and they just really bring a good vibe to me.
What's your favorite restaurant or cafe?
My favorite restaurant or cafe? Well, in my hometown, there's this one called Lavish. They've been open for a few years and I just love their food and they always make great coffee.
When you were a child, what did you say you wanted to be when you grew up?
When I was a child, since I was very little actually, I always knew that I wanted to do something in the world of modeling and pageantry. I used to binge watch America's Next Top Model, so I definitely think that from I was very young, I've always wanted to be a model.
What makes you laugh the most?
What makes me laugh the most? Just being goofy. Like I said, I myself am a very goofy person in privacy, so sometimes I make myself laugh, but I love somebody that knows how to tell jokes as well.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
It would be to have more patience. I myself am a fast-paced person. I like to rush, and it's very important to take a minute, to just take a breather, appreciate the process, and know that you'll get there.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment, along with graduating salutatorian from high school, is when I was announced as top 3 most articulate and intelligent women of 2017 at Miss Earth.
What's something unreal that has happened to you this year?
Something unreal that has happened to me this year is actually becoming Miss Universe Belize. It's a dream that I've had since I was very young, since I got into pageantry. And you know, I feel so honored and so grateful, and I just hope to make a great representation of what it is to be Belizean, and you can all hope for me to leave my heart and my soul on that stage.
What 3 items would you take with you on a deserted island?
I would take a lighter, a flashlight, and a knife.
What would you do if you won the lottery?
I would probably invest in real estate and then donate some to charity.
If you weren't doing pageantry, what would you be doing?
I would probably be doing modeling.
What's one valuable lesson that pageantry has taught you?
To believe in myself. Even though you may be considered the underdog, there's always potential that you can tap into, and you can start by believing in yourself.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I do. I'm all for women empowerment and supporting other women. I think it's really important for us to be able to make a change in the world and encourage young women to take up space.
Who do you admire the most?
I would say I admire my dad the most, being that he picked up his entire life and moved to Belize without speaking a word of English, being able to establish a life for himself, own different property, and he has instilled these same values in us.
How would you define yourself in 3 words?
I would say goofy, optimistic, and determined.
What's one thing you had to learn the hard way?
I would say that you don't always win, but that doesn't always make you a loser. Sometimes it's about a learning experience and becoming a better version of yourself.
What does being kind to yourself mean to you?
That would mean a lot of self-love, self-acceptance, and self-forgiveness.
What would you like to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered for being useful to my community, creating a change by spreading awareness against domestic violence, and hopefully leading us in a path to creating a better Belize.
What message would you like to leave with your female audience?
My message would be that you are worthy, you are beautiful, and you are capable of accomplishing anything you set your mind to. Mi mensaje para las mujeres es que son bellas, son dignas y son capaces de cumplirse las metas que se propongan.
What message would you leave with your male audience?
The message I would leave with our male audience is to treat women with love and respect because we are equal counterparts and we depend on each other. Mi mensaje para los hombres es que traten a las mujeres con amor y respeto porque dependemos el uno del otro.